These are the brand new Model 2 macro lenses from Moment. We've had macro lenses for Moment for the past couple years now, but these are the updated version 2s of the 75mm and the 10x macro. And moving forward, these are going to be replacing the current version of the macros that you can find in the Moment store. Let's see what these look like. These version 2 lenses are sharper, there's less color fringing, and they have cleaner edges, and you're really gonna notice the difference if you got an iPhone 16 Pro or iPhone 17 Pro. And you can let me know if these images look like they were shot on a cell phone. These version 2 lenses are gonna be replacing the version 1 lenses, so if you're watching this early enough, you might be able to get a discounted version 1 lens. And don't worry, there's nothing wrong with those version 1 lenses, they're just being phased out. The 75mm macro and the 10x macro are both macro lenses, but they both serve a different purpose. I find that the 75mm is a little wider and can give a bit more context to what you're shooting. And the 10x macro is like a microscope. Like, you gotta get really close to your object, but the images look larger than life, and you can see hidden details using this lens.
This is the version 1 of the 75mm macro, and this is the version 2. Right away, you can kind of see this version 2 is a little bit longer. It's kind of more circular, and it's just slightly larger and rounder than the version 1. On the back, everything looks pretty much the same to my eyes. I'm sure the optics inside these are different, but overall they look pretty similar. Actually, it looks like there's probably more optics and some pieces of glass in that V2. And on the side, there is a brand new red emblem on the side of this version 2 that looks really sharp. So it'll be really easy to tell these two apart. This is the version 1 10x macro, and this is the version 2 10x macro. The version 2 looks like it is just slightly larger, if you ask me. On the side, we have got that red emblem, so really easy to tell these apart. And on the front of these, that's where the biggest noticeable change is. The version 2 has a lot more glass. The version 1 has got some writing and some smaller elements to it. There's also these lens hoods that fit on top of the 10x macro. These provide like some shade and some more even light when you're shooting. And the V1 and the V2 lens hood fit on both of the V1 and V2 lenses. I'm using an iPhone 17 Pro, and for the past few versions of these phones, they've had like a built-in macro lens. I'm the first to admit I don't shoot a ton of macro stuff, but that changed when I got these Moment macro lenses. My hot take is that the macro lens in the iPhones aren't really a good-looking traditional macro lens like these Moment lenses. They're more of just the option to have close focus on your cell phone. I found that the macro lens on the iPhones are more for shooting things up close, like capturing documents or taking a photo of a receipt. Like, you're just shooting something flat that you don't need any sort of depth of field. If you're looking for more depth of field and truly a completely different perspective, I think that's where these macro lenses from Moment really shine. If I had to sum that up, the iPhone macro is for close focus and the Moment lenses are for artistic purposes. So there's two series of lenses that Moment has created in the past couple of years. The first of these is M series lenses, and these are for iPhone 13s and earlier. I'm pretty sure back in the day, this is how I found out about Moment, was through these M series lenses. The cell phones back then only had a small, tiny little camera, and these lenses changed pretty much everything. Cell phone photography has evolved and the cameras are larger, and therefore the lenses also need to be larger. So if you're somebody who's still rocking an iPhone 13 or older, you can still use these Moment M series lenses. There's nothing wrong with them, and I think they're like $50 right now on the Moment store. If you try to use these M series lenses on these newer phones, it just doesn't quite work. Technology has changed, and that's why there's these newer lenses. Moment T series lenses work on iPhone 14s and newer, and these lenses have been out for a while, and that's why we're getting version 2, an update.
So I've been using the Moment Pro camera app to shoot these photos and videos. Within the app, you've got a lot more control and options of what your finished video is gonna look like. When I'm shooting video, look at all these different frame rates that I have as options. I find that focus can be tricky when you're using the built-in camera. You tap to focus, and sometimes the focus can jump a little bit. In the Moment Pro camera app, you can switch the camera into manual focus, and you've got a lot more control of where you want your focus. To get a cool detail shot like this, look how close the 10x macro needs to be to these screws. This is where a tripod is gonna come in really handy. I'm also told that in the Moment Pro Camera app 2, there's gonna be an option for focus stacking. This is gonna give you the option to have photos have a lot of depth of field or not so much. It's a pro feature, and if it's something you rely on for your macro photography, you're really gonna enjoy this option. I've seen some comments asking if this 75mm will also work as a telephoto lens. Let's try. We've got the 75mm macro on the iPhone, and this definitely focuses close up. If we're trying to shoot anything further away, that is not gonna work. This lens is designed to be a macro lens, so it's only gonna focus a couple centimeters or inches if you're in the States in front of the lens. Now, if you are looking for a great telephoto lens, I would have to recommend the 58mm tele lens. It's one of my favorites. If you plan on picking up a Moment macro lens, I know you're gonna be pleased with these new version 2s. They're sharper, there's less color fringing, and they're better suited for the brand new cell phones. If macro lenses aren't your thing, don't worry. Moment's got a whole bunch of different focal lengths, and we've got a whole bunch of videos showcasing what those lenses are. My name's Davey, thanks for letting me spill the gravy, and we'll see you in the next one.